Yeah, morning. Can you hear me? No, it's not on. Yes. Okay. Now? No. You think you guys have pressure? Look at the pressure I'm having. And after so much of hype, this talk better live up to it. While we sort this out, I think I'm audible to begin with. My voice will go hoarse if I continue talking this way throughout, so I'm sure this will be good. Let's start with a fundamental question. Why are you here, apart from attendance? What's the objective of your education? How many of you want to do further studies? If your hands up, you guys have had breakfast, right? I was wondering, thumbs up while coming to college. Thanks to your friends that I have with this. Yeah, better? Okay. So, what's the objective of your education? How many of you want to do further studies? How many of you wanted to get into a corporate job? How many of you want to get into a government job? How many of you want to get into a startup? And for the ones who have not raised your hands, I'm assuming you just want to marry somebody rich. Right? Yeah, so remember the guys who didn't volunteer and give an answer. I have some good news for you and bad news for you. Let me give you the bad news first. Jobs are going to disappear. It's not going to be 10,000 jobs earlier and now 8,000. It's probably going to be 100 jobs earlier and now that same job is being done by 1 or 2 people. So let me come back to this question. Even for those looking to get married to somebody rich, उसके पास नौकरी नहीं है तुमको क्या खिलाएगा? Make sense? So you have no option even if that was the ambition earlier. You have no option but to start running. And the good news is that you can do it. This was the ice industry. This was an industry that was there around 150 years ago. How many have seen, and some of my questions are rhetorical, they're to test whether you're awake. How many of you have seen the movie Frozen more than once? Everybody's seen the movie Frozen, right? You remember Olaf? You remember Kristoff? What is the name of the reindeer? Sven. So what is Kristoff's job? You see right in the beginning, you see that entire team singing the song. What were they doing? Please speak loudly.
Cutting ice.
Cutting ice. So that business was the ice industry. It was cutting ice, transporting ice, and selling it in places where there was no ice. This is a shot of that industry. There were large ships which used to go into the Arctic areas, cut ice, transport ice, bring it to cities like New York, and then transport it to the places that needed the ice. Who destroyed their business? Before that, ice factories. Any of you seen an ice factory? Or at least have seen a board of it?
Yes.
Refrigerators destroyed that business. Mythology, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, cycle of destruction and creation. That's going to happen. Unfortunately, now when you're in that cycle, you'll realize it. As to which end of that cycle you're at. Let's look at this industry. The year was 1880, 1890 or thereabouts. The people who were in this industry, their focus was to get a better horse carriage that can travel a little faster or get slightly faster horses. Then comes in parallelly the development of the engines, and after 10 odd years or 15 odd years of that, you have a gentleman called Henry Ford who transforms the entire industry. I'm sure you're teaching it in their classes. Right? Who destroyed that industry? Cars, all of you use it. So while the industry disappeared, all the jobs disappeared, but new type of jobs opened. And because this is an industry that you're seeing closely, you can imagine the type of jobs that got created because of the new industry that came. But tell me what jobs you thought were there before the automobiles came in. There must have been jobs which are repairing horse carriages, making seats for people to sit on horses, taking care of the animals. Now the animals were the engines. And then you've got Elon Musk waking up and saying, I don't even need ice age engines anymore. Now you've got electric vehicles coming in. So every industry at a certain point of time with technology gets changed. Now while these are stories, the bottom line is people who are preparing only for that industry will lose their jobs. Make sense? That is the point that you have to be careful about. I thank the visionary principal that you have, Dr. Manoj Kamat. He is gung-ho, even known outside the college, for those of you who don't know, pushing for new courses and advising other educational institutions as well. So thankfully, he has recognized and is batting for AI in your college. So now if I look at the cross-section of BBA colleges across India, your college will come to the top or one of the top. Isn't that a great idea? Provided you press the button and you start learning around it. So those were all historical examples. Let's talk of examples where your business has gone for a toss. How many of you used to go shopping for your parents? Everybody, right? Who destroyed your business? Your parents paid you $100, you spent 85. What happened to the balance 15? Would it go back to your parents always? No, I mean, kabhi saas bhi, kabhi bahu thi. The teachers also have done the same thing. Your parents have also done the same thing. Who destroyed your business? UPI, Swiggy, Blinkit. So it's not about some futuristic thing. This disruption with technology destroys your business and you've already seen it. How many of you got a few hundred rupees as pocket money through this method every month? Yeah, gaya na? Zero. That's going to happen again with technology. All of you have seen technology disrupting business. How many of you have been to the bank 5 years ago? How many of you have been to a bank recently? Big change? For those of you who have seen the difference? You'll have at least heard stories about your parents talking about we used to walk 20 kilometers to school, cycle through crocodile-infested rivers and so on. Yeah? But at least you heard stories of them saying that we used to wait so much for a phone call. We used to go to the bank, we used to waste so much time. Now everything happens at the click of a button. Does it happen? And you've seen some of these changes for the better. But what about the jobs in the banks? Did you think about it? How many jobs do you think have been lost in the bank? For those of you who've been to the banks earlier and now, have you not seen the job loss? For those of you who've seen the entire ecosystem of restaurants and shops, have you not seen the job losses over there? Amazon. How many of you order at least once online per month? For the ones who've not raised your hand, just wake them up. Yeah? There's a real disruption happening with jobs. And you're seeing it. But it becomes difficult to see the same job loss coming when you are at the facing end of it. And that is what my talk is about. So all of you have seen that banking, jobs have been destroyed. I spoke to Sir. Sir talked to me about talking about majorly finance, HR and marketing. But we can broad basis and go across everywhere. So when it comes to finance, there's been a big job loss in banks. Accounts, what do you think has changed? Now Sir talked about photographing a bank statement or a credit card statement. The statement gets uploaded, ChatGPT recognizes it, converts it into Excel. Don't you think किसी के पेट पे लात मारा ये job? How many of you have used, and your teachers are looking this side, how many of you have used ChatGPT for your reports? Assignments? Only so many? Oh, come on, yeah. Okay, I'm not telling them who's raising your hand. I don't think they're recording your views. For those of you not, you can at least raise your hand slightly. Yeah. How many of you? Okay, so I was looking behind now. Now don't. Yeah. So, if you're not using it, you're making a big mistake. But if you're using it as is, then you're the biggest fool. Because AI has a big problem of hallucination. It makes up answers when it does not know. Just like us. It's been trained by us, right? So it'll have the same biases that we have. So there's a classic case where there's a bias in hiring, where the data that had been fed to the artificial intelligence software or machine learning software was that we have so far hired in this manner, and these are the 20,000 people CVs that we got. Out of them, we've hired these 200 people. Learn what you can. It continued the bias. This was an American experiment. So it continued hiring white American males. Why? Because that was the historic data. So when they realized the bias, they said, oh my God, we're not hiring people of color. We're not hiring enough women. So it's garbage in, garbage out. You'll get what you put in. Unfortunately now, entry-level jobs are going to go for a toss. As a BBA, tell me how you'll get a senior position. You need to have an entry-level position first. If that job disappears, what are you going to do? For those of you who didn't say marry a rich guy, you have a problem. And I'm assuming my talk is for you. And for those of you who wanted to say marry a rich person, this talk is also for you. Because if he doesn't stay rich, what are you going to do? So the only option is that you have to have multiple sources of income. One of them has to be a full-time job. But maybe it could be something else. Be entrepreneurial. I'm not saying go keep trying for KBC. Marketing. This is what was thought to be a creative job and a number crunching job. It's gone for a toss. I'm in the marketing business. It is destroying the type of work that we were doing on a very regular basis. But as it destroys, as the horse industry got destroyed, newer opportunities opened in the automobile industry. So the person who was making seats for horse carriages, if the person was intelligent, started making seats for automobiles. Make sense? So the jobs in marketing also kept on disappearing. Will keep on disappearing. Content writing. How many of you use ChatGPT for writing something? Yeah. Ad generation, ad managers. So there's lots of advertising that happens with you're creating, if you've tried boosting an ad, boosting a post on Facebook or Instagram, that's the simplest form of ads, right? So those jobs are also going to be automated. There are tools now which already exist, which are creating automated content, automatic graphics, automated text, and understanding your target market better, faster than humans can. This now happens in 5 minutes if you're using the right tool, not accurately, but that becomes a good place to start. And then you refine it till you come to the correct point. Of course, in quite a lot of cases, it is absolutely junk or rubbish that is thrown out also as an answer. But if you are an intelligent person, you learn what to use and what to discard. Telemarketing. Oh, this is a big thing. How many of the students, seniors have you had who got in jobs in call centers? Quite a lot. The faculty would know. Yeah. You now have an agentic AI, a single server which can do, can you guess, how many calls simultaneously? 700. That one server is doing the work of 700 humans. You know what's the best part? That server does not fall sick, does not need a washroom break, does not have to say, keep killing some grandparent every now and then to take a holiday. It's a big problem. And does not have labor laws. So industry is shifting en masse in trying to produce the goods at a cheaper cost. Which means there's a huge job loss, which has happened, and an even greater job loss that will happen. I'm not even bringing the layer of geopolitics into the play, where this war is happening here and that person is getting protections there and so on. Make sense? Is that a big problem? HR, resume screening, big part of HR, looking at and deciding whom to hire. Now imagine, one, number of people who have to be hired is much less, and second, of the people who have to be hired, there's a software which will scan through tens of thousands of CVs, analyze them, rank them, give them automated tests, and then figure out who are the 5 candidates to be called for the final human round of interview. I know a startup which was also doing face recognition technology using AI. So when the candidate is actually giving an interview, like sir talked about the person doing yoga or exercise, this software is actually looking at the facial expressions of that person and saying, "Ye jhoot bol raha hai." It's already there. How many of you have got moms who can look at you when you're talking and say you're lying? Software is better. It can track it. So what's happening to the HR jobs? So you realize what's happened? I've talked of the three things that sir said talk about if you want chai. Finance, HR and marketing. Jobs in all three areas, going for a toss. I've got my marks, I can get tea now after this. Right? What about these jobs? Pilots. What do you think will happen to the job of pilot? How many of you wanted to be a pilot growing up? What do you think is going to happen to their jobs? Quick. More jobs for pilots? Less. Why?
Autopilot.
Due to
Automated?
Yes.
If cars can be driven automatically, what about pilots? Planes? They can be. Landings are anyways being done automatically. Cruising the middle of the sky with no planes around, that's not too complicated. What about radiologists who spent not 3 years doing a graduation, but doing more than 10 years including specialization and post-specialization? What about their jobs? How many of you have tried uploading a graphic on ChatGPT and tried to get it analyzed? What do you think is happening with complicated graphics? It'll work. Tech is already there. While I keep saying ChatGPT, the answer is not always ChatGPT. Like sir also talked about Gemini. So while ChatGPT may not show you the answers for medical report the way it is supposed to, because of the guardrails installed by the developers of ChatGPT, but Twitter or X has started Grok. On that it says we are okay to give you medical diagnosis. So if you've got some problem, talk to it. Don't bypass the doctor, but you'll get a greater idea of what's happening in the world. Experiment with this. Third job, lawyers. How many of you have tried to understand, how many of you have seen the details of a policy document or a legal document and understood it? How many of you have gone through some complicated lesson and asked ChatGPT to simplify it for you? Major time saving, right? 3 hours of study done in half an hour. Possible? What are you going to do with the balance 2.5 hours? So there are softwares already available to simplify the work of a lawyer, of the common man, to understand the legal cases. What happens to the job of the lawyers? It's not just your job that is threatened. Sir talked of software programming. Software programming. 90-95% of the work can be automated even today. The reason why it is not being done is because the people who want to do it don't know yet how to do it properly. But the companies who do are already doing it. And there's another major enemy at the gate that's called agentic AI. You can give one instruction and that AI can keep on doing it and do the next step and the next step and the next step logically. For example, if I were to tell using agentic AI that go and get me the news in the business industry every day at 5 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 3 p.m. and 2 p.m. and go and search for this particular type of news. And then on the basis of that, recommend which stocks to buy. And then make those purchases of those stocks based on my algorithm which I've already planned. I'm not talking of science fiction, it's already happening. How many of you do trading? How many of you do F&O trading? How many of you lost money in F&O trading? 95% of people who are doing F&O trading lose money. Yeah, so if you tried F&O trading, hats off to you, you'll get a better job, that I guarantee. And if you've made money on F&O trading, stop lying. But you're not losing to humans, you're losing to software. And losing to software which can take these decisions at a split second. How many of you know the name of the new president of USA? You better know it. Yeah. How many of you know what he's talked about as far as the Paris Agreement is concerned? He's pulled out of the Paris Agreement, which is talking about renewable energy. Now, the moment he did announce that decision, what would have happened to the renewable energy stocks?
No.
Right? By the time you read the news, you figure out the news, you wake up, you go and punch in the trade, you've already lost to the automated system. Right? Because in this, money should be made in the split second only. Those jobs are going to go for a toss. Translations. How many of you use AI for translations? Very easy, right? 100% accurate? No. But easy, yes. So I'm not keeping track of the time. You'll have to give me a prompt when you want me to shut up. So with all this happening, is there really hope? Or should we just give up everything? Kuch hone wala nahi hai. Sir has already come, said, no jobs, no chance, let's go back depressed. Is that the objective why sir has called me? No, na? There's a huge scope for you because you are in the right college at the right time. The question is, which path will you take? That nobody can do for you. You have to do it yourself. So how many of you, and I'm asking the question again, are looking for a good quality job or a good quality business at the end of your career, at the end of your studies? Please raise your hands again. Now, of those of you who've raised your hands, how many of you are willing to put that extra effort now? The ones who've raised your hands will get it. Finance. Jobs are over? Bullshit. Sorry, sir. Finance. Jobs are over? No way, they are not. Better. AI financial strategist. So while I talked about trading, those of you who've done F&O trading, you will end up generating the prompt and the algorithm that you'll end up saying that, okay, if there's a news event, see it, these are the list of 100 companies, identify which of those companies are going to be impacted by this decision. Look at their PE ratios, look at the profit they've been making, look at the announcements that they made for the last 6 months or 1 year, and therefore judge whether those companies are going to be capable of responding to the external change. Right? That is the kind of logic that I'm talking about. Do you get me? Am I talking mythology, Greek? Am I talking Greek? Probably not, right? You can understand what I'm saying. That is where the job will come. Job will not come now that you'll walk into the stock market office in the morning at 9 o'clock, 9:30 after reading the Economic Times in the morning, which is anyways stale news. The job will come on how can you do code and make the algorithm for AI that the trade can happen in those 30 seconds or those 5 seconds immediately after the news has come. That is going to be where the intelligent jobs are going to come. Do you get me? You'll have to give me a prompt of the time, sir. 10 minutes more. Similarly, there are 10 other jobs in finance which are mentioned. What I've talked about is only the first line. AI financial strategist. Fraud detection. How many of you almost got scammed online in the last 1 year? How many of you know people who got scammed? Imagine real-time detection. Imagine detection, real-time, where the call is coming in and based on the first 10 seconds of the talk, you've already alerted the person that this is a scam. They follow a common template. You have got more intelligence, which is why you didn't get scammed. But somebody else in the family or your friends got scammed. Right? Don't disown your friends because they got scammed. Come up with a tool to solve it. So where there's a problem, if you come out with a solution, you have got money to be made. Does that make sense? What did I say? Where there's a problem, if you come out with a solution, there's money to be made. So that problem gives you the opportunity. And that opportunity is what you have to chase. And trust me, you have what it takes to solve that. All the people who are solving these problems today didn't come in with a background which is very different from yours. Some of them may have an extra tech layer, but you have an extra management layer. Make sense? So you have the capability to solve it. There are so many other types of tools that can be used. You know, financial advisors? Okay, people that you'll go to saying that, okay, I've got 1 crore in the bank, what do I do with the money? I've got 10 lakhs in the bank, how do I invest that money? Older school, 50 years ago would have said, beta FD mein dal de. Right? Today if you say FD mein dal de, the person will throw you out. Why? What returns does an FD give you? 5%, 6%? Yeah? What about a typical XIRR on the market? 12, roughly, for simple calculation. Yeah. So, if you are saying, and the magic of compounding is such that if you put the money in FD today, that money will double after 6 years, 7 years. But if you put the same money in the market today, that money will double in half the time, despite occasional market shocks and falls and so on. So if you go to a financial advisor, the person is going to charge you money and give you financial advice. But if you develop your own financial advisory algorithm by asking the right prompts and keep on refining your prompts on even a tool as simple as ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or whatever, you'll be able to dish out a reasonably accurate answer much faster. And then you can move around town saying that, okay, I'm the new financial advisor, right? Buy me a coffee, I'll give you advice. Make sense? Marketing. There are tools now which can create an entire ad campaign and I saw one in a startup pitch yesterday, in seconds. What does that mean for jobs like mine or yours? It's already obsolete. Punch in a few prompts and the entire headline, story, bodyline, number of graphics, accompanying videos, all generated by AI. Which target market, all generated by AI. Only catch is so far, and that's why hum log bache hue hain, is it's not 100% accurate. And that's why you have a human intelligence which comes in, which is good for people with large amount of experience. But the juniors who are learning on the job, that phase is over. So therefore you have to differentiate and come up with something else which allows you to use AI better. So you have no option but to play with AI. I would recommend, if you don't have ChatGPT on your phones, Snapchat, Instagram is one part of the story, but download ChatGPT. Download so I talked of Gemini, so download Gemini. Download other tools that you keep discovering. There's so many tools out there. You know, you can make videos on the basis of prompts. You can make characters, human-like characters using prompts. Right? What's going to happen to all the influencers? Their days are numbered. You can create an influencer online using prompts, using tools, who will not have tantrums, which a typical celebrity has, who will report on time. To have that celeb running online, you'll probably pay $5, $10, $15 a month. That's around 1,000, 2,000 rupees per month, compared to hiring that celeb even once and paying the taxi charges of 5,000 bucks or flight charges of 10,000 bucks. It's cheaper than that. HR. They are recruitment specialists who will be able to use AI, figure out the biases. I talked to you about one bias. Figure out the biases. Figure out which test to give. Understand the data that's being churned out by AI. You got HR management softwares which are available. If they don't have a layer of AI, you can use an existing HRMS, add your layer of AI, and start selling that service to clients. You can go out saying, I'm a recruitment specialist. Imagine scanning through profiles of colleges using AI and coming with the top 3 colleges to target. So sir talked of 2 wonderful students who did a lot of hard work for this event. Imagine using AI to figure out all the BBA colleges in the country. Figuring out which 10% of the colleges have got a highest chance of attending an event like this. And targeting them. The entire hard work is being done by AI. Maybe you've already done it, but if not, this is something you can do. Ma'am also told me that's AI and sustainability, so I'll touch upon that as well, very briefly though. Climate change, big problem over here. Droughts, extra floods. How can we tackle them using AI? Using advanced weather modeling, waste management, waste segregation. There are already AI tools which are there to help you segregate the different type of waste as it's moving on a conveyor belt with speed. And the AI camera recognizes, okay, this is dry waste, this is wet waste, this can be recycled in 2 steps, this can be recycled in 5 steps, this can't be recycled. And automatically the robotic arm pushes it away in the correct bin. Recycling efforts improve. Energy efficiency. you've got AI tools now available which are going to help you reduce your energy consumption in your homes by something simple, optimizing it for the time of the day and your body type. Why this is going to become very important even for you is Goa's old, and I'm just talking about some different domains over here, not related to our talk, but Goa has got a very long-term power purchase agreement. It's going to expire in a couple of years, which is why the power rates in Goa are lower than the rates outside India right now, outside in the rest of India right now. But that will change in 2-3 years. And when it hits you, your home bills are going to jump up by 3 times. So it makes sense to invest in something that allows you to save on energy. Precision agriculture. How many of you watered plants at home? How many of you watered cactus every day? Not as simple as that, but advanced based on soil condition, weather condition, understanding when to water the plants, etc. I know a person who's running one of my clients is running a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, just by doing precision agriculture. Understanding which plant needs water when, and not 3 liters or 2 buckets, but 25 drops, 45 drops. What's the water consumption? Hardly anything. Water goes right to the root of the correct plant based on its growth cycle at the correct time. How many of you got mango trees at home? How many of you tried watering the mango tree leaves in the month of March and survived? Don't do that. So while, I think I'm out of time. So while you got shiny tools like ChatGPT, so let's talk about Gemini. I don't want to get into the too many shiny tools because these tools change by the day. You can simply Google top 10 AI tools for whatever you want to do, right? It'll probably give you a longer list than I can talk. But because sir said finance, HR, marketing के बारे में बात नहीं किया तो देखना. Here it is. Finance, Bloomberg Terminal. Now it's got AI layer on it. BlackRock Aladdin. I forgot what it does. Salesforce Einstein adds an AI layer on the sales data. So analyzing which 100 customers, every company will be getting hundreds of calls. Let's take HDFC Bank. They must be getting hundreds of calls from customers asking for certain data. Them automatically analyzing. Don't bother taking photographs of this because this is going to change within 24 hours. Oh, I didn't know that. Let's behave, guys. So tools will keep on changing. The point is, which is the right tool for what you are trying to do is something that you have to keep on digging out. And the tool may be different for writing a report for presenting to a college. That tool may be different. You can create a PowerPoint presentation in 30 seconds. Have any of you tried it? How much time do you take to prepare a PowerPoint presentation? A few hours? I'm asking you to give 30 seconds of your time. Slow PC, 2 minutes lagega. Not more than that. Usable, not usable, that's a different point. That's what Microsoft is doing with Copilot. It's purchased ChatGPT, integrated it with Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Google is also doing the same. And there are third-party tools which are already there in the market, where you give the prompt, I want to create, and I'm sorry to the teachers for leaking out some information here. I want to create a 10-slide presentation on, let's put the title of the last topic that you got. The impact of sustainability in Goan tourism. This talk is meant for college report in BBA. Enter. And by the time you go to the bathroom or go and make your Maggie and come back, your 10-slide presentation is going to be ready. I'm serious. But your teachers will catch it because it's common. So you can't use it as is like that. Right? The point here is not to cheat the system. You'll be cheating yourself. The point is to tell you that there are tools available, leverage them, so you learn faster and get the best job in the market. Why? Somebody who's got the capability to prepare 20 presentations a day versus somebody who's going to prepare 1 presentation in 10 days. Who will get the job? Assuming quality is same. You will get the job. And that's your advantage. Because you're in the college where the principal has got the vision to ensure that you got AI in everything that you do. So essentially, I think the entire talk is summarized by this one slide, probably, where you got your skills, which is what you're learning over here. You add a layer of technology, which is through AI, and you add a layer of strategy by ensuring you choose the correct tool. You can't use a hammer for every problem, right? So use the right tool. Understand what, take your bet. Nobody knows what's the correct answer. I don't know what's going to happen in 1 year. Your teachers don't know what's going to happen. You all don't know what will happen. Your parents don't know what's going to happen. But you can take a gut feel that chances are that businesses will keep on growing. Chances are that there will be more technology coming in, more job loss happening. So you have to get into the top 1% of the jobs. And like sir already talked about, and I really love that idea and I compliment you for it, startups. If you're a job seeker, there's a problem. If that company closes, you're out of job. But if you're a job creator, then if you're working with 20 companies, if one company closes, you still have 19 to go. And you can go into a different market, go into a different industry and try and get 20 more customers. So which one would you rather be? Getting a check from one place or getting multiple checks coming into your account? But you have to be a lifelong learner. You have to do things that make an impact. And you have to dream big. And that dream big is what sir is trying to tell you and ma'am is trying to tell you with your pinnacle or summit as your hackathon. So how many of you are willing to put in the hard work in the next, and I'm not even saying 3 days, in the next 1 year to add some capability of AI? How many of you, with a show of hands, are willing to learn AI in the next 12 months? Thank you and God bless. You're welcome to connect with me online. Any questions? Zero questions? Too boring? There's no wrong question. Okay? Thank you so much. Lovely being here.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking address. Your insights on integrating AI with sustainability have sparked important reflections among us. As we draw the inaugural session to a close, it is time to express our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished guests for their invaluable contributions. To honor their presence and the valuable insights they have shared today, we would like to present them with a token of our appreciation. May I kindly invite Professor Dr. Manoj Kamat to come forward and present the memento. We sincerely thank you both for your profound impact on this event. Your wisdom and presence have truly elevated this occasion. Thank you, one and all.